Oh, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video on a crisp day. It's definitely getting colder. Winter is indeed coming. Game of Thrones, that ended badly, didn't it? For today's video I'm going to do another Q&A, but this is one for Sober October. About a month ago I put out a post on the community section of my YouTube channel seeing if you guys had anything that you wanted to ask in regards to like hints and tips for Sober October, and you responded in kind, and I'm going to try and go through a decent chunk of those today. Now, for any of you who are new to the channel, if you're looking into giving up just for October, then you might find some good stuff in here. However, if you're actually looking to give up full time, shall we say, if maybe you're struggling with issues and you just want to knock it on the head for good, then more than likely you will definitely find some good stuff in this video. That's what this channel's all about, and there's a lot of videos that I've done on this subject. This will probably be quite a long video, so if you don't want to sit through the whole thing, make sure you have a look in the description. I'll put down all the questions that I'm answering and the timestamps for them, so you can just go to that part of the video. And I guess if you don't really want to bother with this video at all, one thing I would say that Sober October is a great way to get started. So if you're looking to you know, get a pathway into sobriety, so to speak, then now's a good time to do it. Right, let's get on with some questions. God damn, my hands are cold. Things I do for you people. The first question that I'm going to answer is actually let me see, we've got Karkarai 1970, Charlie Hobson, and Ian Barker. Hi guys! The reason I read out all three of those names is because all three of them asked different iterations of the same thing, which is basically, how do you deal with peer pressure? And this is a very common question that I get, because it's one thing you wanting to quit, but other people might have different ideas for you. Now, there's positives and negatives to this question. I'm just going to put my hands in my coat because goddamn. Yeah, there are positives and negatives I've got to say for this one, so let's get the negative stuff out of the way first. This is one of those questions that I think quite often people want an easy answer or maybe a quick fix to. And unfortunately I don't think there is one. I think a lot of this comes down to how truly committed you are to wanting to quit. I'm not trying to belittle anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying, quite often if you've already got doubts in your own mind about your own ability to quit, then that can be a difficult thing to deal with. I think one major boost that you can get from it is from making the decision yourself that you don't want to drink anymore and standing steadfast with that decision. Sounds like an obvious or simple thing, but I think a lot of it lies with that. I think once you've made the true decision that you don't want that in your life anymore, that's a huge part of it. There'll probably be a lot of things I say in this video that I've said in many of my other videos, but it's because they're common themes. There's also, of course, the fact that if people aren't going to support you or they put you down from it, then maybe they're not the best people for you to be around. So that's, you know, get that out of the way. Now, the positive side of things is it's Sober October, and the clue lies in the name. It's the 1 month of the year, well actually there's 2 months in the year where it's perfectly acceptable to not drink, and Sober October is obviously one of them. Not only is it acceptable, but you're actually supported. You actually can get sponsored not to drink. How good's that? So basically I would use Sober October as a springboard, because that's the one time in the year where it's really acceptable not to drink. The other, of course, is January, because many people hit it pretty hard over Christmas and New Year, and it's getting more and more common for people to take a dry January. That's how I started on my path to sobriety. The best thing you can do is use Sober October to your advantage. You've got a month there where you can just quit, stay away from it, try and take care of yourself as best you can. Now, I do sympathise with this question a lot, because I do know what it's like to have people who don't want you to quit. But maybe what you can do as you're getting closer to the end of October, maybe just explain to your friends, it's like, you know, I'm kind of liking not drinking for the moment. You know, I'm kind of really enjoying that. I'm enjoying being sober. I'm enjoying not having hangovers. I'm enjoying having a bit more money. This is going to be a big one, but if you could make it through December, you know, if you could make it through so that you weren't drinking over Christmas and New Year, then you are once again into January, which is another month where it's perfectly acceptable to not drink. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not, but then again, none of you would be watching these videos, I suppose, if it was. Ultimately, make the decision, take ownership of the decision, take advantage of Sober October and the fact that on the tail end of Christmas you've also got January, and maybe just try and get through to then, and then you can start January, or should I say February 2021 with 4 months sobriety under your belt. Again, easier said than done, but by no means impossible. Hope there's a semblance of some answer in there for you, and all the best to all of you, and go for it. Also, one other thing that I've just thought of right now, we're also the world is in a state now where all these lockdowns and all the rest of it is kicking in, and pubs are more than likely, we're closing earlier in the UK at the moment. If that is the case, then take advantage of that as well. You know what I mean? Maybe use that as an excuse. I don't want to go out anymore because, I don't want to be spreading anything or catching anything. Even if you don't believe in it, like a lot of people don't. Not sure what I think, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, maybe use that as well. Whatever it takes to keep you sober, go for it. My next question is from Dean Fletcher. Many people, when they quit something, usually take up something else. Duff of Guns N' Roses took up martial arts, being one example of many. Would welcome your general thoughts on this, linking it to your own experience. Am I right in thinking that there were a few years between quitting the source and taking up running, and how did you fill the gap? This is a good question, this one. It does seem that a lot of people who suffer with addiction are able to transfer it onto more positive things. I think if you're like that with alcohol or substances, whatever it may be, when you do finally get rid of that, it can be quite easy to transfer that same thought pattern onto something else. I know ultra running is definitely something that's increased in popularity over the years, and from what I understand from it, actually a lot of people who take part in it are actually more often than not middle-aged men, and I think there's a lot of people who have been in recovery for a long time who do this sort of thing as well. It kind of makes perfect sense to me. You do need something else to do, because that's a big thing when you do quit. It's like, well, what do I do now? This is boring, isn't it? Life's boring. To answer your question about myself, yeah, I'd say the first year after I gave up, I didn't really fully commit to doing too much of anything else, really. I was just not drinking. It was kind of a weird limbo year in many ways as well. But then again, I didn't really fully commit to completely giving up until I was sort of nearer the year mark of sobriety. So yeah, the first year I'd say was a bit of a limbo year. Just keeping an eye on myself, I guess, keeping an eye on my thoughts, and not giving in to those old thought patterns. You know what it's like when you haven't drunk in a while, you start convincing yourself that you can do it again, and it's keep an eye on that sort of thing. Literally a year to the day, I got offered a job that I'd been after for a very long time. I no longer do, unfortunately. It's my own fault, but yeah, I got offered a job that I'd been after for a long time. So I kind of got committed to that. Not long after that, I started both of my YouTube channels, this one and Free to Be Who I Be, my music review channel. And that kind of consumed me for a long time. I was, however, working out quite regularly, but not really necessarily taking it seriously. I was doing kind of bits of yoga at home and bodyweight exercise. Most of my exercise has been walking. It's how I de-stress. I've got this theory about matching the heartbeat. If I get anxious, I normally go for a walk, because I find by going for a walk that I get the heart rate up, and when you get that fluttery heart rate when you got loads of anxiety, I kind of found that after a while when I was walking, I kind of matched that, and it, rather than me feeling anxious, it felt like my heart was going because of the exercise, and it kind of helped to deal with shit. God damn, my hands are cold. But in terms of actual fully committing to running, yeah, that was about a year and a quarter ago now when I started the Couch to 5k. And that was what really changed with me for doing that. It took me a while to get into that, but that's because I didn't really fully commit to anything. If you're away from alcohol and you're comfortable with being away from it, then start right away. Do you know what I mean? Just get into it whenever it's good for you. And I think it's better to have a healthy addiction than a bad one. And I, for one, totally recommend running. It's absolutely amazing. It's changed my life, and I absolutely love it. The next question, I'm not going to read out the guy's name because he actually deleted the comment afterwards, so I'm not sure if he wants me to read it, you know, so I'm not sure if he wanted it read out or not, but I felt that it was a good question, so I'm not going to mention the guy's name. But the question went, do you think it's a good idea to have an evening of one last drink before starting on Sober October and hopefully a longer break from alcohol? Or do you think that sort of enforces the idea of giving up something rather than stopping doing something negative? First of all, I think it's a good question. And secondly, I think it's completely dependent on your motives. If you are purely giving up for Sober October, if you are purely giving up just for the month of October, then I don't really see any harm in having one final night, because it's whatever, you know, maybe you don't really have an issue with it. However, I suspect that if you're asking the question, it's because maybe it is something that you're looking at doing long term, and you kind of almost answer your own question as well. If the reason you want to do Sober October is as a springboard to longer term sobriety, then I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, because you kind of, we're always looking for an excuse. This is a question that will come up later on as well. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason to drink. There's always somebody who wants you to drink, or there's always an occasion. There's always something. So when you give in to that, then you're kind of, yeah, you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice, really, I think. If you're making a decision not to drink, then I would start straight away. Don't put it off till tomorrow, because that's not how it works. Same with overeating, or same with anything, or same with not starting a YouTube channel or some dream project that you have. You know, it's very easy not to do it and say, I'll do it tomorrow. But of course we know that it's not as simple as that. If you're going to do something, start doing it now. I hope that answers your question. I said I didn't mention your name, but if you are watching, then the next question was actually asked on my Instagram, and I'm going to use that as a shameless plug to promote my Instagram page, Benjamin Lee Wright. Best place to keep up to date with what I'm with what I'm doing, and I also post comedy videos supposedly once a week, which also make it onto YouTube eventually. But you know the score by now. On with the question. And this question is from the Glass Mirror Company. Hi Ben. Hi Glass Mirror Company. Watch all your videos. Thank you Glass Mirror Company. How did you find getting to sleep when you stopped alcohol? Getting to sleep once you've quit something. I remember this from back in the day. The heart flutters and the detoxing and all the rest of it. Good times, fun times, overheating and all the shit. I think, I can't recall totally, to be honest with you, because it was such a long time ago now. It's been nearly 5 years, but I always kind of remember 10 days being this figure that was always in my head, not just for sleep but for a lot of things. When you were younger, you used to be able to drink and pretty much get up the next day and be unaffected. As you get older, you start getting the 2-day hangovers, and then there's always something lingering, something that doesn't quite snap back for quite a while. But yeah, I found it was normally about 10 days before I really, this was after a particularly heavy drinking session over multiple days. Actually, now that I think about it, now it's probably 3 or 4 days I think before getting into that. Maybe it was 10. Thing is, I struggle with sleep anyway, so it's a difficult one for me to answer. I haven't done a very good job on this one, have I? 10 days I think is what I'm saying. Oh, I do apologise, that was terrible. Next question is from Kieran Horisk. How do you go about meeting new people after sacrificing the social ease that comes with drinking? This is the one that I've struggled with the most. I'm kind of quite an independent, insular person anyway. Although I am very socially adept, actually. I don't socialise with people as much as I should do, and that's something that I fully intend to correct over the coming years. Having said that, initially I didn't stop going to the pub. I wasn't one of those people who actually just stopped going out when people did ask me. A lot of time I would join my friends down the pub and I'd still be there when they were drinking. I just chose not to. I was going to say, you know, follow your interests and maybe try and socialise that way, but of course the way things are going in the world at the moment, we don't know if we're going to be all cooped up inside again before too long. So it's a difficult one. If you're interested in exercise, you know, there's running clubs and all that sort of stuff, or just go out with friends. Try and find people who are also, I think a lot of it comes down to interests. Because if you can find interests that don't involve alcohol, whether it be sports or whatever it is, try and find people who are also in that, so that you've actually got, you're concentrating more on the interest rather than the socialising side of it. Because it's so easy to fall into the trap of oh, you know, this would be even more fun if I was drinking. Well, you know, try and do the things that actually interest you in life, and thinking. Try and do something new, I guess. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I've kind of thought of trying. You know, the older I'm getting, none of us are getting younger. If there's something in life that you haven't tried, just try and commit to that more. And socialising is a difficult thing. I mean, I think a lot of the reasons why people drink so much is because of socialising. I mean, essentially, if people are that difficult to be around sober, that's not necessarily a good thing, is it? Yeah, my advice would be just to try and find something you enjoy and center your life more around that, and the people who are interested in that sort of thing, and the people who bring more positives to your life. This is a video that I'm going to have to do something on, because a lot of people have asked me about this thing as well, so I will have to address this in a future video, I think. Next question is from Kate. I agree that Sober October is a good place to start. I did it last year, but unfortunately my birthday is 2nd of November and I'm under pressure sort of to go out with friends and celebrate. Going to try this year and celebrate without alcohol, maybe a spa day, a long hike. Any ideas would be gratefully received. I think you're on the right lines there with the spa day or something like that. Try and do something maybe a bit more physical. I mean, I'm guessing, if you tried to give up multiple times, I'm guessing that a lot of your friends and family maybe know or suspect that you want to stay away from alcohol. So just try and be as honest with them as you can be, I guess. Just explain to them. I mean, as I said earlier, you've got Sober October. You've got Sober October as a springboard. So you've got a decent chunk of time there to get sober. So just explain to them maybe at the end of it that you're liking this feeling. You're liking the control that you have in your life. And you're liking the fact that, again, no hangovers, a bit more money, you know, not having to worry about feeling like shit all the time. I think, again, this is one of those ones where people want an easy fix or an easy answer. And I think it's just about, a lot of it is kind of making the decision that that's what you want to stick with and doing so. It can be very difficult. I mean, this comes back to the peer pressure thing again. I guess I answered at the beginning. If you're in a situation where you can't really talk to the people you're with, or they don't support you, again, maybe they're not the best people to have around. If they're good people, then I suspect that they understand that you've got issues with alcohol or you're struggling with it. Maybe they'd like you to quit as well. Maybe they'd actually be more supportive than you realise. I don't know fully what your situation is, so I don't mean to assume anything or cast aspersions. Maybe just talk to them, explain how you feel, and definitely go ahead and plan something that doesn't involve alcohol, and just say that. I'd like to do something that doesn't involve alcohol this year. Spa day, like you say, that's a perfect one. There's always something, there's always some occasion, there's always some reason to get caught up in drinking. And also remember that it's your day. Birthdays are a funny one because it's supposed to be your day, but a lot of times you end up more often not doing what other people kind of decide for you. So maybe, yeah, just explain it's your day and you're going to do what you want to do. I hope there's something there. Let me know how it goes. Okay, next question is from JS. How did you finally convince yourself to stick to sobriety after numerous failed attempts? You mentioned in your 3-year video it took you a while. Also, how do you deal with self-doubt and unsupportive people who mock you for trying? I didn't really necessarily have unsupportive people, or no, that's not true. Let's go back to the multiple attempts. I think a lot of the key lies within that. I've said this many times before, but if there's any benefit at all to having fallen off the wagon multiple times, is the fact that you get to a point where you can't actually bullshit yourself any longer. So I guess so much of success in life is carrying on after failure. So I guess me finally getting sober was a result of me failing multiple times. You know what I mean? I kind of keep in mind that whenever I start getting them little doubts, and I do get them occasionally, not very much, they get less and less as the years go by, but every now and then I get that little, you know, maybe you don't have as much of an issue with it as you thought, you know, a couple of drinks here and there, it wouldn't hurt. But then I kind of remember that I went through all that stuff before. I've done all that. I've told myself all the lies. I've bullshitted myself multiple times throughout the years, and it always led back to the same place. So I guess that would be the main thing for my success this time. It was remembering all those times I bullshitted myself in the past. And I think mocking people, unsupportive and mocking people, this is something that took me a little while to learn. And I guess I'm only just learning it now, and a lot of it comes from shitty comments that I have had on the channel as well. A lot of the times the people who are giving you the most shit are often the people who are struggling themselves. So a lot of times somebody who is mocking you for not giving up is because they're having an issue doing it themselves. I found that to be very true of a lot of things in life. It's the same as if you have a dream in life and you want to go ahead and start doing something, and you're going to have somebody who's trying to put you off. More than likely it's not because they want to put you off, it's because they think actually you might succeed. You might become something that they're not. You might do well in life, and you know, you just have to believe in yourself more, I guess, and go with your gut instinct of what's right. I don't think enough of us do that. But you also find that by sticking to your moral code and sticking to your way of living, as difficult as it can be, eventually you will end up inspiring others, or you will find those people will quietly kind of speak to you later on. You know, I think I might be having a bit more trouble with it than I realised, you know what I mean? So for anybody who's watching this, yeah, I think it's good to realise that a lot of the time those people, they're the ones who are often most having a difficult time coming to terms with things themselves. So yeah, I guess try not to be mad, try not to be harsh with them, try to understand, and also realise that you've got to stick to your thing. It's not their fault, it's not your fault. I hope that helps. And now on to the final question. This is from Rio Vey. How did the last day of you quitting this evil thing look like? Did you choose a specific day, or just went fuck it, I'm done? And he actually goes on then to actually give me quite a bit of praise there. Actually, that's quite humbling. I'll leave the question up so that you know, you can look at that one. Oh, I feel embarrassed now. Oh. How did the last days of me drinking look like? Now, I'm not actually going to answer that question now, because I fully intend to do a video completely dedicated to this one in a couple of weeks. I've been thinking of doing this video for a while, and it's another one of those questions I've had a lot of people asking. It certainly wasn't rock and roll, it certainly wasn't that dark. I mean, I will answer the one question. I did just think fuck it. The long and short of it was I gave up for January. As I mentioned, dry January a couple of times. I just couldn't be dealing with it anymore. Then I decided to give up for another month, then I went for 6 months, then I was at the year, and I think the year was when it really solidified for me that that I was done. But there's no way I can answer this question quickly and succinctly, so I will be doing a separate video for this very soon. I have thought about doing it for a long time, and there's definitely something worthwhile for this video, I think. So apologies for not answering it fully right now, but I will answer that question in a video of its own. And I think that will do for today's video. I don't know how long I've been going on at this point. I think this is going to be quite a long video, so let's be honest, if any of you have made it to this point, well, I doubt many of you have. I've got a couple of different videos that I want to do. I'm going to have something a little bit different either next week or the week after. I will have the Q&A. I was supposed to have a Q&A video come out this week that I recorded last week, which I postponed because of the Sober October thing. So that will be coming out next week, I should imagine. I will be doing the video about me, the final days of my drinking. I still keep intending to do the intermittent fasting video at some point. I guess I will be concentrating on alcohol videos for the rest of the month, as it is Sober October. If you do have any other questions, then please ask. And then after that, I kind of wouldn't mind getting on to doing a few other different subjects. Like I said, I got a few different things that I'd like to take an attempt at, or will become clearer in a couple of weeks' time. Sober October is just about to start soon. I wish all of you every bit of luck with that. I know you can all do it. It's a great month to start. If you can use that springboard to get you through November and December as well, then you've got January, and there's a possible 4 months of sobriety right there. You know what I mean? So stick with it. Believe in yourselves. Don't let others put you down. The biggest person who can put you down is you. The next video will be a comedy video, and then I'll have another Q&A or something out for you next Sunday, as usual. So thank you all for watching. Catch you next time.